On this episode of the Houndsman XP podcast, we are traveling to Trinidad, Colorado. I was the host of Eric and Sarah Schlukebir and the Whitaker Brothers Hunting Company. We're going to talk to Josh, Jason, and Eric. We're going to talk to them about their hunting adventures across the world, all the way down to Old Mexico. Eric's hunted all over the United States. He's from Michigan. He's got a ranch in Colorado. He's headed to Alaska here in a few weeks to hunt brown bear. And his trophy room is impressive, and the animals are numerous. Josh and Jason have dedicated their whole adult lives to being professional guides and outfitters. And I'm talking world-class outfitters. Everything from trophy elk to world-class bighorn sheep, mule deer, whitetail turkeys, and most importantly, lions and bears. I've seen videos of them hunting ocellated turkeys in the jungles of South Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula. They actually were featured in a TV series called The Guides. Eric had already gotten to know them by this time, and he made some appearances in those videos in that series as well. Josh has told me a couple times that they have got to live out all of their dreams to the point that they had to come up with new ones. And the most intriguing thing for me is, with all of this hunting opportunity, all of this adventure, they prefer to hunt with hounds more than any other thing that they do. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get the whole story of how Eric and Josh and Jason all came together and have made Whitaker Brothers Hunting Company a premier destination for the top hunters in the United States and around the world. We are going to talk turkey hunting, and then we're going to take a dive into the world of those crazy hounds that we've had over the years, those special hounds, the ones that make you laugh. You're going to love it. This is a hot one, boys. Let's get the tailgate down, get the doors open on the Old South dog box. It's time to dump the box. I'm usually the one that messes these up. I'll just tell you that right now, because it always goes, you got good conversation going, and then I start in with like, hey, we're with Whitaker Brothers Hunting Company in Trinidad, Colorado, and yeah, it just kind of rolls out from there.
Well, don't screw it up this time, Chris.
All right, we got to do some introductions real quick. So we'll go around the room here. We got the whole crew from Whitaker Brothers Hunting.
The whole crew.
Yeah. Minus the bookkeeper, Jason.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're probably the ones that should be here doing the podcast, actually.
I don't think she'd be a big fan of it.
Really?
No, definitely not.
All right, so to my left, I got Josh Whitaker. Josh, you're on a podcast that I'm surprised we didn't have to burn that one.
I know it.
Man, we tried to.
I'm really surprised it made it.
I'm telling you, ratings were so bad on that episode, it took me like 3 months to recover from that.
Well, you know, just is what it is, I guess.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
getting ready to one-up it right now. Or one down it. We might one down it.
Yeah. And then to his left, we got his brother Jason. Not only a brother, I mean, it's a twin brother. This whole twin dynamic thing. I've studied, I've kind of watched twin brothers throughout my whole life, and there's a whole different vibe going on there.
It is. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is going to be tough, because it is going to be really tough to tell the difference between Josh and Jason, even from the sound of your voice.
Yeah, we're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, now one of them is way more full of shit than the other one, but I'm not going to tell you which one.
We'll figure that all out. I think I already know the answer, but we're going to figure. The audience will be able to figure it out by the time we're done.
Exactly.
And so, just real quick before we introduce the last guest on the podcast, talk about what it's like to have a twin brother, Jason.
Oh, it's truly a blessing. It's the coolest thing ever.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You guys weren't competitive? You guys
weren't? No, we've always pulled for each other. And as long as I can remember, since we were little bitty, we've just been tight, super close. Yeah. And never been competitive with one another, ever.
We have brawled before, but
that's
every
sibling does. But
Yeah, we've spilled blood on each other before, but
Right.
it's just brotherly love, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
no, we're very close.
How
Yeah.
long have you two been guiding, outfitting, doing everything together? I mean,
Our whole
obviously your whole lives you've been
the
doing
whole
everything.
adult life we've been
Yeah.
guiding. So, and we've hunted since we was little kids. So,
Did all kinds of,
oh yeah,
from Mexico to,
we started with Red Rudder BB guns and
yeah.
graduated to 22s, and then went to traps, and yeah, it just escalated from there.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. But I got to tell you, there is something that, for both of you to go out and marry women named Renee, that's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
It freaked us out.
Yeah,
So
they're both Italians.
yeah.
Both
No,
named
they are
Renee.
not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it's a little Jerry Springer, but yes, that's the truth.
It's true.
And they're not.
No,
they're-
Chris, they're
no
not
relation.
related.
Okay. All right.
At least we don't think so. I don't know.
Somewhere maybe in the old country.
Yeah, we
Way
may
back?
need to do the whole tree thing and figure it out.
You might not want to.
No, I actually don't.
Yeah. What
so.
was that DNA kit they came up with a few years ago? What is that? 23andMe or something? Is that
I'm
what
not
it's
sure.
called?
I've never done anything
Where you
like
take
that,
the
so.
cheek swab and you send it in, you find out you're related to people in Northern Africa and Ireland and Russia. All over.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So you've done it, or
No, I've just heard about it.
no?
I've
I'll
just
be
heard
dang.
about it.
Huh?
Yeah. All right, and last but not least, certainly not least, is Eric Schlukebir. How would you consider yourself in the Whitaker Brothers Hunting Company here, Eric?
The
You're the-
quiet
you're the-
one.
Are you the brains of the operation?
Oh, no.
For
100%.
Sure.
You already know.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Don't let him fool you.
So how'd you get hooked up with Whitakers?
Oh, I was a client at one point in time. As fate would have it, I ended up going on a deer hunting trip that I wasn't even supposed to go on, and we just hit it off right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Josh was your guide, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, and you still became friends.
Yep. Yep. I survived that week and went, well, if I survived this, yes.
Yeah, that was over 10 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, been great friends ever since.
Yeah, cool stuff. Well, hey, we're going to talk about. I got the pleasure of coming out and hanging out with you guys this week, and guest of Eric's and his wife Sarah, and just seeing what you guys got going on out here. And I got to shoot a transsexual turkey.
Yep.
We're going to call him Bruce.
That's fitting for sure.
It is, man. That turkey. We had horrible wind Monday and Tuesday. I felt like I was hunting with a professional hunter. It's like my PH this week was Eric Schlukebir. We're following him through the mountains and different things, and fat boy from Indiana coming out here. What's your elevation here? Where were we at? About 7,000?
Yeah. Average.
Yeah, about 7,000 feet. Man, you can feel it. Doesn't matter what you do back home. It takes you a few days to get that.
Acclimated.
Yeah. Especially if you're following Eric, you really feel it.
Oh, my gosh. He's got long legs, and he just glides across
It's
the
like
landscape.
a billy goat.
Yeah, so we're working these turkeys or looking at these, kind of surprise us. But anyway, we end up shooting this turkey. But so Eric's like, shoot. I'm like,
That's what Eric always says.
yeah. So I'm kind of like, man, I've killed a lot of turkeys, and I'm waiting for the hens to clear, but it was cool because he was like, shoot. And I shot, and I'll admit it, I missed the first time. I was waiting for him to clear the hens.
You know what? A true sportsman gives a warning shot.
Yeah.
You gave him a chance.
Yeah. First time I ever hunted Merriam's, I've got to tell you, they're really dumb. Especially up there where we're hunting. I mean, they haven't seen human beings or been hunted. And But yeah, I shot the first time, and he's just. But I have seen that before in Easterns. He just kind of stood there and ran back and forth a little bit. And as soon as he cleared the hens, man, we put the hammer on him and killed him. But it was funny because I really did. I felt like I was on a safari. Those videos I've seen of African safaris, it's like, okay, shoot, reload, shoot again. You know, it was like that. It was cool.
Well, when you got 40-mile-an-hour winds, it kind of changes the script on you.
Man, I'm telling you, it's brutal.
It was awful.
We took some awesome pictures, and I don't know how we got them.
Timing.
You
literally had to time the wind, Gus.
Yeah. Eric, how long? I mean, you've been hunting. How long? What's your story? You're from Michigan.
Yeah, since I was big enough to walk, I followed my dad. It was just one of those things I just knew I always wanted to do.
Yeah, and it was so deeply ingrained. You got an education in wildlife biology. Your dad was a wildlife biologist.
No, Dad worked in the park system. I wanted to be an outdoor writer, but I got into college and wanted to be a wildlife biologist after that. I got a degree in wildlife biology and then became a farmer.
Yeah. And then you got drawn to the West.
I did. Yeah, I did. It's once you get out here in the wide open spaces and get to stretch your legs, it's kind of tough to go back into the chopped up smaller portions of the East.
Man, I always say it. It's like I go into like in Indiana with our weather and cloudy and stuff. I seriously, I get seasonal affect disorder in the wintertime. But I found out a few years ago that if I can get out here and get closer to the sun, I mean, it can carry me.
Oh yeah.
And it's an amazing thing. So
it's healing, isn't it?
It really is.
For sure.
I mean, we're out there at night and looking out, and there's no light pollution. It's quiet. The actual starlight, it lights up the mountainside.
Yep.
Yes.
3/4 of a mile away, 2 miles away, you can see the outline. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's spiritual for me. Some people need to go put their toes in the ocean and see that thing. That's not my gig.
Nope.
Yeah.
Lace them up and head up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we feel the same way, and we live here. You know, it does the same for us.
Everybody I know from the West, it's like,
yeah, it'll never get old.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah. But yeah, this turkey, so he didn't have any spurs. This is why he's called Bruce, and I know we'll probably get some heat for talking about the transsexual's turkey, but Eric and I were talking about this whole thing. We were talking about shooting this turkey. We run up there, and we grab this turkey, and I look down on it. It's like, this thing doesn't have any spurs. And
none. Not even the bump.
No. It was the weirdest thing. And you can tell by the head on the turkey. You guys know. I wasn't looking at Jake. I knew I wasn't looking at Jake. And and he had how many hens do you have? 6?
No, it was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
He had the entire.
A wad of them.
Yeah.
And we get up there, and he's got this little Weasley beard on him. It's only about 3 inches long and no spurs. And I'm like, this sucker is a transgender.
but full fan, 20-pound Tom for a Merriam.
Yeah.
That's these mountain birds. That's big.
Yeah.
That's 3-year-old.
And we're trying to figure out why he had the hens with him. And I just think it's because they felt comfortable with him. They weren't threatened by Bruce.
Yeah.
You know?
He was sensitive.
He was.
Smart man.
Then we go over the mountain, and there's 3 more Toms over the mountain that have got big hooks on them, or on down the road. Got huge hooks on them, beautiful birds. And this poor sucker's only had 2 or 3 hens between them.
2 hens between the 3 gobblers.
Yeah. And Bruce is up there with all the chicks.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Hey, the thing that I really want to talk to you about, you guys have lion hunted Old Mexico, all up through this country. Where all of you guys lion hunted?
We've hunted Utah. We've traveled to Utah. We've done northern Utah. We've hunted southern Utah. We've hunted in the Blues. We've hunted in LaSalle's, and we've hunted Arizona. We've been in the Superstitions. We've hunted the Santa Ritas and the Tumacacres Mountains south of Tucson. And we've hunted Chihuahua. We've hunted the East Sierra Madres in Chihuahua. We've hunted the West Sierra Madres in Sonora.
You're talking Mexico now.
Yes.
Mexico.
Yep. and a lot in New Mexico. So there's a lot of country we want to hunt, though.
Mostly in Colorado, but
yeah, most of our hunting is obviously Colorado, but it's so fun to travel and get into different ecosystems and see what, how different it is to trail from, the deserts of Sonora to the mountains of Colorado and subalpine. It's cool to see just how diverse a dog can be. It's just really unique to experience that.
Where's the coolest places you've ever hunted, Josh, in your opinion?
Chihuahua, Mexico.
Really?
By a mile. Yep. Yeah.
Same with you?
Same.
Jason?
Yep.
Eric?
Yeah, that's just one of those places that, I mean, I'm not going to say a lot of people have hunted the other places, but down there have just not been that many. You're kind of treading some virgin ground there for dog hunters.
Mm-hmm. Is that what makes it special? You think that's what is?
That's part of it.
Yeah, part of it, yeah. And it's Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
the culture and
it's incredible.
The vaqueros, and we just love everything about the culture down there. We like to interact with the vaqueros and the food and just the way they live down there. It's just incredible.
And a lot of it's just uncharted for houndsmen. There are no houndsmen, especially where we were at in Chihuahua. There was nobody dog hunted there.
No.
In Sonora, some of the vaqueros have a hound or two, and would run cats. But as far as Chihuahua, there was nobody there.
And it was the country we hunted in Chihuahua was loaded in bears, too, which was really neat because we've hunted a lot in Sonora, like clear way up in the Sierra Madres there, and then clear down into the desert, into the flat desert. But we never got into the bears. And Chihuahua, where we was loaded in bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like here, there's same, kind of size bears and a lot of color phase and really, really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Some wild country.
Very wild.
Is it just wild like pristine country, or is it like wild like I'm going to become a political prisoner and be traded for El Chapo wild?
No.
Just wild.
Pristine.
Yeah, pristine.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel any of that kind of stuff, though, because, I mean, all us gringos, we all hear about the federales and how they'll hold you up for – you can get out of anything if you got enough cash on you. Did you ever get squeezed?
Well, that's – when you get bribed, it's mostly by the city police, not the federales. Mm-hmm. You'll never have an issue with the federales. And just the kind of the municipal police. But other than that, it's the safety. Us three had been down there for years and years. We did 18 years, but we never had any issues.
One of my favorite ways I like to explain that one, I was sitting in the Hermosillo airport, 4 or 5 years ago, and the news was playing, while you're waiting for your plane, yada, yada. And the story was the U.S. was issuing a travel advisory for Sonora because the previous year, 50-some Americans had been killed.
Yeah.
I kid you not, the next story that comes on was about the city of Chicago that had already, I think they'd had their 55th or 56th homicide in the month of January, just the 1 month of January that was not over yet. You know what I didn't see? A travel advisory for the city of Chicago.
And Mexico, it can be a dangerous place, but for Americans, it's really not.
If you do stupid stuff and go stupid places when you shouldn't go, it doesn't matter whether you're in Chicago, New York, Sonora. Mm-hmm. If you're not doing stupid things, you're fine.
Yeah. I've never hunted in Sonora or in Mexico, but when I was a kid, we used to go across. When my grandparents lived in Tucson, we'd go across to Juarez and some of those border town type stuff, and it's different, but it wasn't scary. But then, man, we went on a cruise and got this off-site cruise, and we had to go out of the concession area for the cruise ship and walk through town and then go down to this building to meet this travel agent to go out to the Mayan ruins. And we're going, where was it? Yucatan?
Yeah.
Yucatan Peninsula.
Campeche.
Yeah. So we go out there, and of course they can't figure out they're trying to round up the buses to get us, these vans to get us out there and stuff, and they're speaking in Spanish, and the whole time we're standing around, we're going, okay. And then we start ripping through the countryside and get into the jungle. The jungle's closing in around the road, and the whole time I'm thinking, okay, I don't even have a pocket knife on me, and I'm going to become a political prisoner right now. They're going to hit one of these side roads. And we go down there, and it was cool. We get down there, it was all cool and stuff like that, but it's crazy how much you buy into that. So as far as hunting goes down in, how was it getting, like lions and stuff back and forth across the border? And
we've never been able to get lions across into the United States. We've tried every avenue known to man.
You can't bring them across.
Well, supposedly you can, but we've never been able to figure out the whole CITES permit deal. We can get tags. We've had tags in Sonora and Chihuahua, but we have the Ranch UMA papers. We have all of that. So on the Mexico side, we have everything. But in order to bring it across, you need a CITES, which is issued out of Mexico City. And we've personally we have not been able to figure that part out. So supposedly you can get them across, but to our knowledge, we have not run across one person in 20 years that can tell us how we can accomplish it.
Yeah.
You know that abstract painting of the stairs that goes around in a square, and you can never get to.
Yeah.
That's pretty much trying to get a lion into the States.
No kidding. So what's the closest scrape you guys had while you were in Mexico? Do you have anything like that? Like something that made you kind of nervous?
No, not really. Thieves, but that's anywhere. Gosh, especially nowadays. But no, not really. No, we used to go for 6-8 weeks at a time, and but no, it's always been good to us.
Do you think that's because you were down there and you were just kind of, you guys have absorbed that culture, just being around you two, and you both speak Spanish, the Rietas and the what are they, Riendas? Riendas.
Yeah.
And everything that you just kind of absorbed the whole culture of it. And
I just think too many people are, the horror stories, and there is damn sure a lot of horror stories with Mexico, but I just think people go down there and they're already intimidated.
Yeah.
And we've never been intimidated down there. I don't know. We've always been comfortable down there.
Yeah.
And we've never had a reason to be scared.
And same with Eric. Eric, all three of us has hunted a ton in Mexico together.
Yeah.
And, we've been to the jungle, and we've been to 3 different states of Mexico hunting together. And
4. Counting Coahuila. Yeah.
So we're just, I don't know, we've always been comfortable. And
well, I think that you mentioned something right there that might escape some people in our audience, but Mexico is pretty diverse as far as its landscape.
Extremely.
It's wicked.
Yeah, crazy.
From the jungle to the desert to the high Sierras, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you can go from Kentucky to New Mexico to Montana, that drastic a difference in Mexico. Same
Absolutely.
thing between the states.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. It's an incredible country. It is.
So down there as Houndsman running, what did you see? What was your biggest challenge taking hounds down there, hunting wise?
It was easy in Sonora. Obviously you got to have all your paperwork, all your certificates, rabies, all of that. Chihuahua was a little bit spooky because when we crossed down there, they literally took our original copy of all of our dog papers, and I actually had copies, but they took the original, and that kind of spooked us. And
plus Chihuahua, you could only take 3 dogs per truck.
3 per truck.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. In Sonora, you know, we've had 6 dogs in one truck, and they never batted an eye at it. They didn't say a word. But Chihuahua was a lot more strict. So when we came back across the border, back into the States, we actually got the original paperwork back, which really surprised me. I couldn't believe it. But so it's actually not that big a deal. We had 2 dogs stolen one year on a ranch down there.
Yeah.
We had taken some dogs down there and left them with a friend, and he was hunting them down there. And they trailed off into a neighbor ranch, and, you know, we was told that the cartel they owned the ranch that them dogs ended up going into, and they got, you know, they kind of boogered away from going in there and trying to retrieve them. So, and then, you know, that ranch kept them dogs, so we never seen them again. But I mean, most of the places we go, it's so remote and just great ranch people, you know.
Yeah.
That's all we've dealt with. So
as far as hunting goes, I mean, like actually tracking cats, tracking bears, you know, is there a different challenge here than there is there? Or is it similar to southern Colorado? You know, like things like, you know, how scent works on the environment, on the landscape. You know, is it drier? You know, what kind of challenges did you face with your hounds actually catching game? And we'll get the answer to that question, follow up on that, and a lot more after this break. You know, as I'm out there in Trinidad, this is 7 miles from New Mexico, so it's high desert. I'm looking around the landscape. I'm seeing a lot of rough country, a lot of rock and things like that, and I couldn't help but think that there's a couple key items that I would want in my kit when I'm hound hunting there. The first is paws are protected. The company Dogs Are Treed has developed a product that is so beneficial for a lot of uses, but particularly to keep a hound's foot conditioned to handle the rigors of hunting in a rough terrain. It is specifically designed to help cells regenerate. That means when your dogs are running over rough terrain, they're wearing those cells down and breaking down that pad. Paws Are Protected will help regenerate that. I use it on cuts as well. It is a staple in my kit. My truck and my rig does not pull out of here without Paws Are Protected. Build your pack from the ground up with Paws Are Protected. The other item that I've got to use while I'm out here, hydration is key, man. These arid mountains will suck the moisture out of even rocks. The trees, grass, everything, and that includes man and beast. Dogs Are Hydrated is a simple product, but it is crucial to maintaining hydration in your hounds. It's all based on actual science that was gathered and recommended by some of the top veterinarians for performance dogs in the world. Pick up Dogs Are Hydrated and Paws Are Protected at dogsartreed.com, and at checkout, use our promo code HXP 20% off. You got it. You get 20% off that order. Now let's get back to it. Josh, Jason, and Eric have got a lot to share with us.
it's drier down there where we was, but like east of where we live here in Colorado is harder to go catch a line than it is in Mexico. And the main reason for that is there's so many more lions in Mexico. I mean, it's...
And a lot less rock where we were actually hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Like east of us, there's a lot of rim rock country. Mm-hmm. And, oh, man, them lions can kick your butt in that stuff.
Here in Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not like 100-foot cliffs. It's 10 to 15-foot ledges, and them lions, they can really move through that stuff.
Through there.
Yeah, and the dogs
They're just
can't.
big enough to where the dogs can't get up, but the lions can. And same with the bears. The bears can actually school you in the rocks as well.
No
kid.
That stuff in Mexico was the more like older, rounded hills. Didn't have that cliffy,
more bouldery type country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of oaks down there, and when you hit a big boulder pile, it was a gigantic boulder pile, but all around it was, oaks and, big
a
trees.
lot more hunter friendly for sure.
Yeah. So it's tougher. You think it's tougher to track a lion out east here?
It without a doubt, it's harder.
Yeah. Would you think out east here is the toughest place that you've ever hunted to catch lions?
For us personally, it is. Just for the fact it's, the terrain is the hardest part. Like Mexico, there's way more lions. I mean, their density is so much higher than down there or, here. But yeah, I mean, for us personally, it's, everybody says where they live is the hardest hunting around, and I'm not saying that.
I've said that so many times.
I'm not saying that.
My God, nobody's ever caught a lion. You ain't never hunted no country like we got here, boy.
And like where we hunt, right around here where we live, it's not bad at all. You know, we're not dealing with real bad rocks. It's a lot of ponderosas, a lot of just big tree mountain country. But you get into that rim rock stuff, ledges. I mean, them lions, they get a little jump on you, and a lot of times you're flat not going to get caught up.
You're just going to get outran.
You can't pressure them. Yeah.
That's wild. So what kind of dogs do you like? I mean, if you had to, what do you prefer? What style of dog?
Good dogs.
Good dog. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Ruckus dog. I've mentioned him on this podcast before. I told our audience I was going to get you back on here to talk about him. I want to talk about Ruckus.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
I met Ruckus.
He's a rank one. Yeah.
I met Ruckus, and as soon as we walked out to the kennel, I think I've seen one picture of him, and I've looked down through there, and I knew which one Ruckus was. He was just standing there at the gate, and he just had that air about him like, I'm the badass out here, just so you know.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. What makes him describe Ruckus, Jason?
Oh, grit. He is 100% grit. He's probably the toughest dog, one of the toughest dogs we've ever owned.
Well, what sets him apart as far as, I mean, if he was like, if he was a person, how would?
Oh, if he was a baseball player, he would hands down be a Reuter. You'd know he was like a steroid freak.
But yeah, if he was a person, he'd be covered in tattoos and have like 3 felonies and just got out of prison probably.
Wife beater T-shirt.
Yeah, that's Ruckus, covered in scars. But no, he's a gem. He's been a really good dog for us.
Well, a lot of people have always got that one dog but you guys talk about Ruckus at a different level. Just from his personality to.
Yeah, he's obnoxious.
In what way?
He'll lift his leg on you if you're not careful.
I can vouch for that.
He's lifted on Eric.
Yep.
One of our guides. He fights. He's just
what? Fights
other dogs. Yeah, he's
anything that moves.
Anything and everything. Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's the taboo point. He'll fight other dogs, but is he just rough like that, or is he with his pack, or because most people wouldn't tolerate that?
It just.
But to people, he's golden.
He's a sweetheart.
Even with my daughters, I mean, he'd never bite a human, like a person. He just wouldn't.
Yeah.
But with other dogs, he's
a butthead, but we deal with him because, his abilities. He can do. His abilities on the track.
When you say he's rough, I mean, is it like you can't trust him to be treated in there with other stuff, or is it?
No, you can.
You can. He just. It's not It's not like on while we're trailing. He's fought a little bit at the tree, not bad, but it's just when we're just out free casting or legging him up
or in the box. In the box is the worst.
He bows up all the time. He has so much testosterone built up that he just can't control himself. He's the guy in the gym that yells on every rep.
Yep.
That's Ruckus.
Yep.
You know,
Ruckus is dropping the barbells all the way down and then flexing, while they're still bouncing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and stands up to see who's looking at him.
Yep.
And then if anything gives him any crap, then he challenges them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he does
Yeah,
it.
it's ridiculous. It just
So,
he's a character.
yeah. Yeah. Is he like that too? I mean, is he just like that all the time, or is he? Do you ever wear him? You ever
it
wear
never
him down?
shuts off.
Can you wear him down? Is he one of those
Yeah.
dogs?
You can,
Oh
but
yeah,
it
you
takes
can, but it takes a while
Yeah.
to get him. Yeah, he just
his mind is stronger than his body.
Yeah, but even
So
even after a successful hunt, and the dogs have kind of peeled off to find their bed,
Yeah.
he's laying there with his head on the cat. That's his.
That's the crazy thing.
And
That's a
anything-
picture
yes, I've
that you
sent
sent me. Here's this sedated cat that you guys were doing this study on, and here's Ruckus. It's like he's got his head on him, and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm still in charge here."
Yeah.
yep.
And any dog that comes anywhere near there, he picks his head up and he
lets him know.
growls. Oh yeah.
I've literally seen him not even pick his head up. His eyes are closed, and you'll hear that little. Just letting him know. I heard your footsteps. Still my cat.
Yeah, yeah. How old is Ruckus?
He's coming seven,
yeah.
I believe.
Oh, no kidding. He's getting that old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 6. Him and Jag 6, but they're coming 7
Yeah.
here before long.
You got a replacement? You got a Ruckus Jr. out there anywhere?
No, he is a Ruckus Jr. His dad was the original Ruckus,
What was he like?
the same way,
Was he really?
and
Yeah.
they literally looked identical. I'll show you pictures. You absolutely
You
they
can't tell them
They
apart.
were like a clone.
Yeah.
And his dad got killed by a bear. And yeah, dude. So he's actually
Same
just-
attitude, same.
Yep.
But little Ruckus he's friendlier to people.
Yeah,
like
the original Ruckus was a one-man dog.
yeah,
And Ruckus is,
he'll
Eric,
roll with anybody.
yeah, Eric can go hunt him. One of our other guides can go hunt him. The original Ruckus, he wouldn't have anything to do with anybody but Jason and I. That's
Yeah.
just the way he was.
Yeah, you guys said you have to hang your packs up when you get to the tree because he'll go around and
Yes.
piss on every pack.
You put a pack down, and
He's
it's
just
going to be
obnoxious,
cut.
isn't he? He's just
Obnoxious.
Yeah, that's him and his brother. That kind of
Yeah.
runs in the family there. His brother will
Jag
anoint
the
your
same way.
Yeah, he'll anoint your pack if you give him a chance.
Yeah, has he ever embarrassed you?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Jason, how's he embarrassed you?
Oh, I don't even know if we should talk about it.
You
but-
definitely have to tell this one.
Well, we were on a study line one time, and there was a female tech there, and she loved Ruckus, chatting him up, and patting him and stuff, and he was starting to like it, and then after a bit, he had the hooks in on her and was going to town on her leg, and so I turned beet red, and I'm like, no, Ruckus, no. And I got him off of her, and Josh is rolling. So I'm ready to slap him too. But the tech, she's a sweetheart. We've known her for years, and she was like fine with it, but I was just appalled. But Josh was like teared up from laughing, and I'm like, shut up. It was terrible.
We haven't seen him do it since that day.
No kidding.
It was only that one day. I mean, he was in love.
It was terrible.
Oh man, those dogs are so much fun.
They are.
I mean, do you think it's just a deal like you like him so much that you tolerate. You've learned to deal with it type stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that it?
Oh,
we
yeah.
love the dog.
The pluses way
outweigh him.
Yeah.
And he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fun
But like
dog.
Jason said, that his little daughters, they can tug on his ears, do whatever, and he's wonderful with them little girls. But a bear or lion, he's business.
Yeah.
And you look at the systems when you're done, nobody's going to put more miles on in the day. That dog just covers ground.
Yeah. All right. So, do you guys? I assume that Ruckus is hunting with this pack of dogs. You guys don't mix packs and go hunt with other people, or
Not really.
Not very much at all.
so everybody's learned their pack dynamic. So it's not that big a deal that he's just a dickhead.
Yeah.
And all the rest of them know that that's Ruckus. Don't worry about him growling. It's
There's
no big
3
deal.
or 4 boys, and we call them the gunslingers, and there's going to be some growling and some yapping, but nobody ever really comes out bleeding too much. So.
Yeah. So, what kind of hound is he? Is he a cold nosed dog? Is he a hot nosed dog? Is he a trailer? Is he a drifter? Is he a swing dog?
He's a catch dog. He's what we consider in our pack a catch dog. Now his brother, Jag, littermate brother, Jag he's kind of our go-to strike dog. And Jag will really like slow down and really track for track if it's really bad. Really a cold track. I'm not saying old, just cold.
Yeah.
And Ruckus is totally different. He's more of a get up and go catch one. He doesn't pound the ground as good as Jag, but once it's fresh, he just flat leaves.
Yeah.
He catches a lot by himself, because he's just way out in front of them.
Because he outruns everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does he do the same thing on bear?
Yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah.
On bear, but it's there's multiple dogs that will be up there with him on a bear.
Why do you think it's different on a bear than it is a lion?
Just easier, just the scent. I'm not saying it's really easier, but there's the scent's so much
easier
different.
to trail.
Easier
for
to
sure.
trail. Yeah, way easier to trail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've seen bears that it's impossible to get them, up a tree and caught. They just walk and fight and soul up, and you're just not going to catch them. I don't care if you got 5 dogs or 15. They're not going to go up.
They've just got it in their mind that today's not the day, and probably not tomorrow either.
Yep. So we consider Ruckus a catch. We call him a catch dog.
Yeah. So catch dog, I mean, obviously if you go to the south and you're talking hog hunting, it means a whole different thing. But
right.
For you, a catch dog is a dog that once tracks up and moving, he's a dog that can
He's not giving that cat extra time to rest up or pull another maneuver. He's right on that cat's tail.
Yeah.
And we got 2 or 3 that way, 2 or 3 catch dogs that just really, when things are slow and they're struggling, they're there and they're working, but they're not necessarily shining. But once something is, really fresh, there's a few there that and they do it almost every lion. You'll notice them they just flat get up and really move on one.
Yeah.
Which is it's a major asset to have a dog like that. I mean, but yet we love the pounders too, the ones that go just track for track and, real independent and slow. And I think when you got all of it, it's a great deal to have.
Cleve Dwyer did that podcast with us and talked about how to select your pack. He talked about the value of the anchor dogs, the dogs that we're going to attract to keep things going in the right direction.
Yes.
Because if you got a bunch of Ruckuses, it's going to be chaotic at that point, isn't it?
It can be.
It could be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you talk about no direction, no leadership, just everybody trying to do their own thing and go in different directions.
Yeah, and a dog like him, they get to moving so fast that, you know, they'll dang sure blow past one, and, you know, they got to come back. And, you know, and if you hit a track that, you know, if you hit like a tom and a female in a canyon together and they're just in there goofing off, and there's literally just tracks everywhere, you're really going to struggle. And a lot of times when you get in that situation, you never find the out track. Dogs will boo-hoo all day long because they're just, you know, the lines are back and forth, and you just never can figure it out. And when you got a bunch of kind of head-up, fast dogs, it's really a struggle.
Yeah.
Frustrating. But
just in there frolicking around, saturating that whole area with scent. You know, plus it's low ground, so depending on pressures and stuff, it can be holding all that scent and keeping it compressed in those canyons. And
yes.
And so it's actually called a scent pool, you know. So I saw it in police dogs. A lot of times when, like, a person goes in and sits in one spot, as long as they're up and they're moving, if they're moving in a constant direction, you can track people, you can track lions. But when they start spending time in that area and they saturate that area with scent,
it gets so difficult.
They got to work it out.
Yeah.
And it gets tough.
Yep.
It gets so tough to be able to do that. And is there one style of dog that you've seen that's been able to work that out, or what do you do? What do you do when you get in a spot like that?
Well,
You try to move them ahead, or you try to bring a dog?
yeah,
in a circle,
I mean, you can kind of make a big loop and try to hit the track going out. But when you're in the dry ground, you're at the, you know, if you can't see a track, you're at the dog's mercy. I mean, you
have to fully rely on them.
And, you know, like in the snow, we've seen it a ton in the snow too. And we just make a big loop and just, you know, if the dogs get a big lose, we just start making circles and just try to
read the country, you know, and try to figure out where it's going. But, you know, sometimes you can't. But sometimes it's easy to read, and sometimes it's impossible.
It's where you pull an old Kuka, that old gal that these guys used to have. She'd just disappear. You'd get in one of those tough spots, a loss, and she'd just disappear, and she was just pull this big old loop all on her own.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she would, I mean, like 500-700 yard circles, and she'd do it all by herself and just make a big old huge loop. And she'd find, you know, when all the other dogs are kind of in a rut and they keep going back to where they lost it and whatnot, and she wouldn't mess around with that for 2 minutes, and then here she goes. And she was another dog that caught lots of lions by herself, just because she'd make that big old circle and find where it left out of there. And
very smart, cat-minded.
Yeah.
Smartest hound we ever owned.
So when she would go out and she'd make this, she would open on the track where she got it.
Not always. She wouldn't always open. Sometimes she'd just flat leave out, and she wouldn't be firing. But you know, you could tell, especially with these Garmins, you could tell what she's got it.
Yeah.
She's leaving.
Yeah.
And if she's quiet and leaving out, we would just kind of gather up and then just kind of cast right into where she was, and then them other dogs would hit and go on. But
my Diablo dog's kind of like that. You know, if we're hunting baits or whatever, they get bogged down around a bait, I'll be watching the Garmin, and all of a sudden he'll start lining out, and he's not open much. He doesn't open much on track. Yeah, I think he does it on purpose. I really do. It
seems like it sometimes.
They figured it out. They might as well take it.
Yeah.
It's like if you other idiots would have been here with me, you could go too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys
So then do you just take your dogs and head for Diablo?
Yeah, he'll usually start opening, and the other dogs will figure it out. But yeah, I've seen him do that a lot.
I'll be darned.
Yep, for sure. Man, it is so much fun to be able to watch these dogs and figure them out, and we'll never get it all figured out.
Oh, no. Lord, no. We're stumped all the time.
Every year you get those head scratchers that keep you up at night.
But that's the fun part, because one day it's the fast dog was the rock star, and you swear that's the best dog you've ever seen, and the next day the ground pounder's the one that figured it out.
Exactly.
You know,
The old slow one.
Yeah. So, Eric, you've had the opportunity to hunt Alaska and Mexico and all up and down and everywhere. Do you enjoy hound hunting as much as the rest of it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the places you go following a dog, I mean, some nasty canyons. We joke now. We got a couple of canyons that we see on a fairly regular basis, and we're like, we ain't going down there. And then we all laugh. And we're gonna, though, one of these days.
One of these days
we're gonna be following dogs and learning something new.
Yeah.
That's kind of the fun part about it. Every time we go out, we learn something.
Right. And you guys have been guiding and outfitting for how many years? 30, 20 years? You've been doing
Over 20.
Over 20.
Yeah, 20. So what do you enjoy most? You enjoy hound hunting, or you enjoy?
All the hounds is
Yeah,
our deal.
probably hounds, and then
I mean, we love hunting everything, but
Yeah. You guys are killers. I mean, you are. You like putting guys in position to be able to be successful, but you guys like to be successful too.
yeah, hounds is probably our favorite, and then probably archery elk, I would imagine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then big deer right behind that. So,
Yeah.
but it's whatever season it is at that time. That's our favorite.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You know what the favorite is? The next one.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
We like it all, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys got a good thing going here, that's for sure. I appreciate the hospitality this week.
You betcha.
we've had a ball, haven't we?
Enjoyed you.
Yes, sir.
I've had a blast all week.
It's
really have.
awesome.
I really have. So, well, you got a good Ruckus story? Any more good Ruckus stories? This was about transsexual.
G-rated or
No, it could be PG-13.
I don't know.
there's so many. It's hard to think of one right now.
Between pissing on packs and hunching legs and growling at the other dogs, and
Yeah, it just
he'd be smoking Marlboros in his wife beater shirt, and
Oh yeah.
he would.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
In and out of jail constantly.
He's a tough son of a gun.
Bathe about once a week.
Yeah. Do you think he'd do it that often?
Probably not.
No. He'd be total grunge. How is he on bear?
Really
good. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yep. He loves bears. Yes,
Do you
sir.
think he likes them more than he liked lions? If he had his choice, if he could wake up in the morning and say, he could call the shots, take me bear hunting or take me lion hunting, what do you think he'd do?
I think he's better on lions.
Do you?
Yeah. Yep.
And
But
he-
we hunt lions so much more than bears. That's the only
So
thing.
you haven't seen that with him? It's like, seems like sometimes, you can have a dog that'll catch lions and be pretty good at it, but once bear season comes in, it's like, it's all on then.
And we have a dog that's just the opposite. Rock star on lions, but is terrible on bears. Scared of them.
Yeah.
So we can't hardly get her to trail one. So yeah.
I think he would favor. What do you think, Eric? I think he'd favor a lion.
Lions only because bears are too slow for him. He'd be annoyed he couldn't run full out. He probably would have to run circles around the bear just to keep himself happy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love talking about those good dogs you've had, and we've all had those special dogs. You think, are you going to plan on breeding him, or
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we've
got a little.
have you raised any out of him yet?
No, never.
Never?
His brother, we've got offspring out of Jag, but we don't have anything out of Ruckus
How come
yet.
you haven't bred him?
I don't know. I think
Scared?
no. I tell you what.
Yeah, I'd feel sorry for the poor female.
Probably the main reason I haven't bred him yet is I didn't want that that fight to carry over.
Yeah.
Because I really don't like that. None of us likes it. You know, I mean, we deal with it.
We joke about it, but you guys are hunting with your own pack. Every pack, I don't care whether you mix dogs or not, they're going to figure out the pecking order one way or another. They're going to figure that out. But when you're constantly hunting with your own dogs, they all know Ruckus.
Well, and two of the cornerstones of the pack are Ruckus and his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you got two brothers. I don't care if it was me and my brother or these two or, you know, they're going to bump heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably, honestly, the main reason I haven't. But I'm to the point now where I do want to get a litter of pups. I've got a bitch that I want to, you know, put Ruckus with, and I think that I really like both dogs, and I think, you know, combining that, I just hope the fight don't carry over. You know, I just hope in the female, she don't have an ounce of bite to her with another dog. She's a real sweet dog, and I don't know, maybe it'll balance itself out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard saying, but
you know, you go back east, and the reason that it's so taboo like that is, you know, you turn loose on a bear track back east, and you get to a tree, and sometimes there's a lot of dogs there that you don't know who they belong to.
Yeah.
You know, so when you start mixing the chemistry like that, then you can have a real problem.
yeah.
But when you're hunting Ruckus with the same dogs all the time, they already know the chemistry. It's always there. You know, it's nothing serious other than just, you know, petty bull crap, dog domination stuff. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and you hear them horror stories of guys, you know, walking into a tree and there's, you know, the dogs, they killed one, you know,
Right.
there's a dead one under the tree.
It's not like that.
We've personally never experienced that.
Have you ever even had that, your dogs mixed in with other packs out here?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we have.
Mostly in Utah, but
Yeah,
not,
Utah's
not much out here, no.
Right.
Oh, you mean strangers?
Yeah, strange dogs.
We've only done it in Utah 1 year. We got to a tree and, we got 500 yards from the tree, and we're like, what in the heck is that? And we get up there, and we done it caught a few different bears up there, and we get there, and there's 15 dogs and, you know.
3-4 different houndsmen.
3-4 different houndsmen coming from different ways, you know. I mean, and we never did have a problem, but I can see how a problem could dang sure unfold in a situation like that.
Yeah, it can happen. It happens out east, but houndsmen out east, they also know that most of them aren't going to drop in on a race or things like that. I got my Jazz female mixed in with a pack this past fall. She struck that bear in the morning and drove it down, crossed over the mountain with it. At 4:30 that afternoon, I picked her off the tree with some other guys' hounds.
Oh, be dang.
Yeah, and that was, so it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
she just carried a bear out of there. And
And when we've experienced it up in Utah, everybody we dealt with, all them other houndsmen, they were super nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't no issue whatsoever with any of them.
Right.
And I think them Utah guys probably deal with it a lot, you know, especially hunting in big, real known units, you know, pursuing and whatnot. But it was kind of a new deal for us, but everybody was super nice, and we just kind of went on our way. But
well, I think we better wrap this one up, fellas. You guys got anything else to add?
no, sir.
Man,
sir.
it's been a blast.
Has.
I mean, just storytelling and fun.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And
All
having a lot in common with one another,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yep. We'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Again. All right. Well, until next time, you guys, Whitaker Brothers Outfitting or Hunting Company. Whitaker
Company.
Brothers Hunting Company. I'm freaking 3-4 days into this trip, and I'm tired. You follow your hounds, and I'll follow mine.
You bet.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
That will do it for another episode of the Houndsman XP podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you go over there to that Apple iTunes store and leave us a review. That'll help us a ton. Also, support our sponsors. We choose our sponsors specifically because they are willing to put back into this sport, this lifestyle that we all love so much. So it's not just about money for them. They actually care about you, they care about their products, and they care about the future of our lifestyle. One of those companies I got to mention is Cajun Lights. You can go to their website at CajunOutdoors.com, and you'll not only find high-quality lights, you'll also find a lot of other gear and essential items for Houndsmen there. Another essential item that we need to talk about is Mother's Day is coming up. You need to check out Rough Cut Company. Go to roughcutcompany.com and get some gift ideas. I promise you your mother will cherish the opportunity to display this high-quality item in her home featuring her family. That's why moms do what they do. They're proud of their families. So get the kids together, get the brothers and sisters together, get some high-quality images. You can do it right from your phone, upload those on their website. They're going to take that image and they're going to reproduce it on native Wisconsin hardwoods. It's going to be laser engraved. It's going to come back. It's attractive. I bought one for my wife for our anniversary. She was not disappointed. Check out Rough Cut Company at roughcutcompany.com.